Hashem. Okay, good evening. We're back with Likutey Moharan, Torah, Chaf Beit 22. So we said the basic principle that Rabbeinu puts down is that there is a reality which is called Chosem, which is a seal, and there's a reality which is called Chosem Bestoch Chosem, a seal within a seal. We said that the seal is because there are those messengers of Kadosh Baruch Hu that give the Kadosh Baruch Hu advice and go to admonish the people, make them do tshuva. And when there is chas v'chalila a judgment in the world, their role is to ameliorate this judgment and conceal it, and go to Am Yisrael and make them do tshuva. And this is called chosem. There is so the reason why it's called chosem, it's called a seal, is because this entire process is very prone to corruption, to being leached into by the angels on the left, which are poised to prosecute and persecute Am Yisrael. And the minute that they find out, and the klipot, of course, and the minute they find out that there's a judgment in the world, they leech onto it and turn it from a productive din Torah into a corruptive and separating din achzori, a cruel judgment. And it is the job of these chachamim to minimize the infraction by Kadosh Baruch Hu and to really blow it open to Am Yisrael and really tell them, listen, really goofed up here, and wake them up to do tshuva. And at the same time, they have to make sure that the entire process, everything is concealed. This is called a chosem. Now we say that chosem is something that, a seal, something that comes to protect that which is inside. We learned also that there is a chosem above that chosem. That chosem that we spoke about, that's the inner seal. Around this, there is another protective shield, which is another chosem, another seal. The first seal is kol haglaim, and we explained why that was. The second is called the yadayim, the hands. And the reason why it's called yadayim is because this is the tool with which the people are able to receive the rebuke from the chachamim, and that's emunah. And that emunah enables the teichocha to be effective, and it also protects the inner seal from being breached. Because when the Chacham says something to a Jew, if the Jew doesn't believe at all in what the Chacham says, then, no matter what he says, it's not going to make a difference. If he has a little bit of emunah, then the Chacham really has to elaborate, what judgment is hovering over the generation until it actually enters the person's mind. Wow, there's really something going on here, and I better watch out. So it stands to reason that the more emuna, the stronger emuna that the people have in the tzaddikim, the less the tzaddikim have to, the less dramatic they have to be, the less specific they have to be. Up to the point that when somebody has a very, very strong emunah in the tzaddik, it's just a facial expression of the tzaddik. Or a word here, or a word there will already give that person the notion that something very serious is afoot, meaning that emunah protects the inner seal, because not much have to be revealed in order for the one out, the one who receives the rebuke to get the message. So that is the outside seal. Now the thing is that the inner seal can be breached if the generation has really, really fouled up, and their averos are so severe, they're so strong, that they actually spoil the inner seal. The judgment is so harsh that the inner seal is breached. But this happens only if the outer seal is breached. Once that outside seal is breached, then the various generation can breach the inner seal. That causes wars, that causes exiles, and all kinds of bad stuff to happen. So now, as we said before, when chas v'shalom, that seal of the hands gets corrupted, which is the outside seal. What happens to this causes heresies. Not only there's no emunah, but if you don't believe in this, you believe in the opposite. And that creates false emunas, false faith. And he says, Ki iker avodah zora en lakoyach ela al yedei shemekabel me'yadayim. In other words, you don't have a person who does not believe. Everybody believes. The question is, what do they believe? Now, belief is an incredibly powerful mechanism. What it does is that whatever it is that you believe in, that determines basically your reality. If we already mentioned an example, if somebody tells his child, listen, you're not good. You're not good. You're a bad boy. You're not allowed to do this. Well, the boy believes this. And from that moment on, the boy believes that he's a bad boy. And being that he's really a good boy, believing that he's a bad boy, he will do bad things. Because this is what bad boys do. And he's a good boy. So he does what he's quote unquote supposed to do. It's a heartbreak situation. But the thing is that whatever it is that you believe pulls this reality towards you. And the strongest of all these things of preperceptions is the emunah. And he says, Rabbeinu says as follows, that Ki'ikar avodah zara en lakoyach, avodah zara only has the power to be effective, as it were, al yedei shemekabel me'yadayim. It is the emunah that people believe, or the emunah's kozv is the false faiths that the false beliefs that they have, that causes them to create a reality where avodah zara, the dinim, the klipos, get the upper hand. B'vchinas vayikach miyodam v'yetzer oto b'cheret. Aaron HaKohen, he says, when he took the gold from the hands of the two magicians, the warlocks, with the Erevav. Says he took it from their hands and he threw it into the fire, and the golden calf came down. And it says the Zohar says the person kisi. So about this Ian of the eagle. How come it came out? He says bema atzlachu b'ovdada. How come they were able to be matzliach with the creation of the eagle? Begin the veikach miyadam, because he took it from their hands. The Zohar continues and he says, ilukadan natal mideon, if when Aaron Cohen took it, the gold from their hands, he would throw it on the ground. Afagav the ito levata, even though he will pick it up afterwards, that bad deed would not have succeeded. Because there were these two mechashvin, these two warlocks, that they created the egel with their kishuk, with their black magic. If Aaron Cohen would have thrown the gold on the ground and then picked it up, they would have been able to accomplish what they did. The entire koich of the egel, which was of the Zohar, is arrived because he took it from the hands of those magicians. Because that followed that when Am Yisrael saw that Moshe Rabbeinu is not coming down at the time after 40 days, when they figured that the 40 days were up, this breached the outside seal. They lost their emunah in Moshe Rabbeinu. Who knows? How do you know what happened to him? They should have trusted in their emunah Moshe Rabbeinu. But the minute there was a doubt there, the outside chosim, the outside seal was breached. And Mimele, the inner seal was precariously sensitive. And the Mechashvim had the hands to do the Avodah Zarah. That's in a bad way. There's also in a good way. The tikkun is also with the Adayim. Gam tikkunoi of that bechina for the Zorah, ugam kin rak al de bchinas Adayim. The same thing that spoils, the same things that rectifies. B'chinas v'yitnu al Yaakov, which says about Yaakov Avinu, after the Ma'aseh of Shechem, Yaakov said, "Let's go to Bet El in order to, because I made a neder." And he said to Am Yisrael, "Give me all the Avodah Zarah that you have by you." Where did they have Avodah Zarah? Yaakov's family, where did they have Avodah Zarah? Because that was after Shechem, the Ma'aseh from Shechem, and they plundered Shechem, and in the plunder there was a lot of, figurines and Avodah Zarahs that were there. And so Yaakov Avinu says, "Give me all the Avodah Zarah." It says, "Vayitnu el Yaakov eskol Elohei anecha shebeyadam." All the false idols that they have in their hands. And what is alluded to in this is that Yaakov fixed that bechina that is called hands, from which the Avodah Zarah receives its power. And this is how it canceled out the Kerch of the Zarah. And the reason why Avodah Zarah receives koyach from the Adayim, when the outside seal gets breached and spoiled, ki mechoisam nasam nidas. As we said before, choisam and nidas is the same gematria. Choisam means that you are guarding that which is inside. Nidas means something is menuda, somebody who is driven away, somebody who is pushed away. Somebody is a nidui means somebody who is excommunicated. A woman, and nida is somebody that's right now being, has to keep her distance. You have to keep your distance from her. Because it's nida means richok. Chosa means kiruv, means bringing closer, as we said before. And he says, and nida is, when a woman sees, blood. The bivchinas yedechem domim aleu. Your hands were filled with blood. In other words, the bivchinas yadayim, instead of being a purifying factor, it's actually a defiling factor. The hands are filled with blood. That alludes to the fact that the yadayim, the emunah, was spoiled, and what became out of it is dam nida. There's a factor that pushes away. Ki yad b'milui, Rabbeinu says, because the word yad, when you spell it out completely, which means yud vav dalad and dalad lametaf, this is yad b'milui. Mispar midas is exactly the gematria of nidas. The b'chinas yad gets corrupted, and what comes from it is b'chinas nida. Hainu avodah salilim shemetama kenida. Avodah salim, idol worshiping, is metama, is defiled like a nida. The same way that a nida causes a defilement to anything that she carries, the same thing avodah zarah also defiles anybody who carries her. So we see that avodah zarah has a lot in common with a nida. They're actually one and the same. So what we find out when the bechina of yadayim of hands gets spoiled, it's corrupted, this causes a reality of dam nida, as it were. In other words, it causes a bechina for the zarah. At kind of the particular text. So we explained there's a chosam that is created by the admonishers of the generation. They seal whatever verdict was decided upon in the heavenly court. So the chitzonim cannot, plug into it and spoil it. And when that particular seal gets corrupted, that causes exiles, that causes people to be driven away. That brings machlokes in the world, there's war in the world. Then we said that there's chosam chitzonim, there's an outside seal that guards the inner seal. And this outside seal comes into being when the people receive the Musa, when they receive the rebuke from a chichador, because they believe in them, because they have emunah in them. And chas v'chalil, that emunah gets spoiled, gets corrupted, they lose it. That breaches the outside seal. Mimele, it puts the inner seal in great danger and gives avodah zarah in emunas kozvius a great place to flourish and gain strength. There is various levels of emunah that gets spoiled in the outside chosam. The one which is most negeya l'maisa is you can have emunas tzaddikim. Don't have any emunah b'chal in tzaddikim b'chlal. No, what can you do? But the most harmful false emunah that a person can get is when he believes that he is beyond help. When a person believes that he is nothing but garbage, he belongs in a garbage pail. He puts himself in a garbage pail. But when a person believes that tzaddik, that tells him, the reason why I'm admonishing you is because you have an unbelievable value. You are a chelek l'kamimal. And your emunah in the tzaddik alone, if you don't believe in yourself, the emunah in the tzaddik alone, if you really believe in him, it takes any kind of good deed that you do and gives you a tikkun. it makes you what you need to be. You are able to receive from the tzaddik the rebuke if you have a muna in yourself that the tzaddik is so strong that no matter how out of it you might be, nevertheless you have hope because you are Am Yisrael, you are Chelek Elokam Imam, and the tzaddik has such a gewaldige koyach that when you believe in him, Rabbeinu says that the tzaddik has the koyach of Eretz Yisrael. Eretz Yisrael, it says about it. It says about Eretz Ocheret Yeshveh. It's a land that consumes its inhabitants. Rabbeinu says this is what Emunah is. This, the outside chosim, is that it consumes the one who has this belief. If that Emunah is positive, and you believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you, He created you. He created you to be who you are and just the way you are. And you're supposed to reach for Him from where you are. And when you're close to the tzaddik, there's a tikkun to everything. Then you're able to receive the rebuke from the Limudei Ador, from Mochish Ador, and you have hope. But the minute that you lose the emunah in yourself, I'm a lost case. What are you talking about? Might as well just go ahead and let loose. That was the pgam of Elisha Achar, right? He said, he heard, Shuvu Bonim Shavavim, come back, naughty children, chutz me'achar, except for Achar. He already lost the emunah in himself. He says, okay, if I don't have Ilm Haba, at least let me enjoy Ilm Hazeh. But that's not what he was told. So in other words, there was a call for tshuva that called everybody to do tshuva except for him. I'm not calling him. It doesn't mean that he could not do tshuva. Just I mean he didn't have the siyata d'shmaya to do tshuva. But being that he lost the emunah in himself, the outside chosim was breached. He had a false emunah in himself. That caused him to fall off the wagon completely. The most important thing that we need to understand is that you are so unbelievably precious. Because Baruch Hu wants you just the way you are, even if you can't wake up in the morning, even if your davening doesn't look like davening at all, and you hardly ever get to learn Torah, and you seem to, every single step that you do, you fail, and you're making matters worse all the time, as long as you have a emunah in the essence that you're good, and the koach of the tzaddik to help you, whatever you're going through is fixing you. But to repeat a story that I heard from Erez Moshe Doron in the shir that he gave in Uman recently, about one of the Anash from previous generations, really a really great Jew that went through unbelievable yisurim, unbelievable suffering. And the people told him, you know what's going on here, and you're coming to Rabbeinu, and look what's happening to you. So this person was a really great person. And he wasn't somebody, so I'm a Dumyan, given to fantasies like this today. And he said, let me tell you something. I lived, a few incarnations before this one. In each and every incarnation that I was in, I came to the tzaddik in generation, I asked him, to fix me, and he couldn't. Finally, I came to Rabbeinu. Rabbeinu gives you a total tikkun. As long as you believe in him, as long as you do what he says, no matter how inadequate you find yourself to be. Says Rabbeinu is putting each and every one of us through a total and complete tikkun. There's no need to come again. So yeah, I mean, you're going through things. I mean, you can, have a la-di-da existence where everything is like, all right, you go through it, you go through sometimes ups and downs, whatever it is. But you're not fixing anything. You have to come again and again and again and again. But Rabbeinu, it doesn't happen at the moment, but it happens at once, one time, one giggle, and it's fixed. Zat Hashem should help us. I don't know that I will be in Oman for this Rosh Hashanah yet. So at least as of yet, the Monday shir in Spur Mises is still on, in Mitzvah Hashem. And Bezat Hashem, I'm sorry, Mitzvah Shabbos, the Sichas Haran and Spur Mises Baal Shem Tov will be on Mitzvah Shabbos, Bezat Hashem. And so I wish everybody a good Shabbos and all the very best to you and to all of us. Nagid Giben Shtiran.